Hey, how you doing, YouTube? It's Bozo the Clown coming at you. We're going to go ahead and cover Ukraine now. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so let's see here. First things first, I wanted to show this tweet from Davey. Kim.com has me blocked, which is fine, whatever. I don't really care. Hit me up, Kim. Come on. But what are they even... I mean, who are they trying to convince themselves? You know what I mean? I mean, this is just pure delusion when it comes to Ukraine. Just take a look at this. The EU needs to agree, I guess, to a lasting peace with Russia, end all sanctions, release all frozen assets, repair the Nord Stream pipelines, bring back the competitiveness of EU industry with cheap Russian energy, and no longer rely on allies, quote unquote, that only take advantage of Europe. Do it now. So it's literally just a stop picking on us. We're not, don't believe your lying eyes. They still talk like they're talking from a position of strength. And the really frustrating part about characters like this guy? You'd be like, okay, so you're a Russian supporter, right? You support Russia. A lot of them would say, no, I support, I just support, freedom and democracy. Kim.com would probably say, I support Russia. He's shameless. But a lot of these guys who are making these arguments, it's like it leaves me speechless. It really does, because it's like, guys, I mean, are you getting anything out of this? Like, why are you attaching your fucking reputation, to this sinking ship? Why are you doing that? Libertarian and MAGA idiot, kind of all three. Alice Tekka, it's kind of all three. Yeah, you take a look at the guy's Twitter. He's a fucking mess. He's a fucking mess. Anyway, moving on. Just wanted to show that. Ukraine rules out short truce. Yeah, because he's a fucking moron, right? But he got really lucky. He struck it rich. He's a very smart, IT guy. He, came up with something really brilliant. Came up with a really brilliant, the download service, whatever the hell it's called, Mediafire or something, right? But yeah, he's clearly not a politician. He's clearly not, skilled when it comes to geopolitics. Let Ukraine compete. Why Russia get a hold of him at gunpoint, stopping competition. Yeah, there you go. He's a Nazi lover. Here's a picture of, oh, yikes. He probably got one that was like all fitted and everything. And he's like rich, so it's probably like a real SS uniform too, I would bet. Oh no. Okay, this is just him clowning. Wow. I'm surprised he's not holding up the AOK sign. I mean, if that was just an isolated picture, I wouldn't even be bothered, to be honest with you. Like, maybe he's just a joker, like whatever. You get pictured with a fucking, Hitler mustache doing a fucking Charlie Chaplin thing, right? Like, but it's not just one isolated thing. Like, look into the history of Kim.com and you'll see the guy's a fucking idiot. He's an idiot. Reading lots of news because he's from Finland. Yeah, he's a fucking moron. So this idea, so can we talk about this short truce? I mean, what is Russia talking about? You know what you're saying to your negotiating partner? When you say, can we have a short truce? You're saying, I have no actual interest in peace. I need a breather. I need to take a break so I can catch my breath. And then continue massacring your soldiers and civilians. Are they this bad at this? A short truce? Are they even calling it a war, or is it still a special military operation? Yeah, exactly, Alice Tekka. Anyone advocating for a truce just now wants to give Russia a chance to regroup and fortify their positions. Yeah, because like, what does Russia come to the table with? Give us everything that we want, and and maybe we'll go away. That's what they're negotiating. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the audacity of it, right? He's not even he's not even lying. It's weird. He's not like, I want to, let's peace talk, real peace talks. Let's start that. And then he's lying, and then he, goes back on it and blows him up anyway and does all that shit. Doesn't even want to do that. He's like, no. I'm completely interested in invading your country. I just need a 5-minute break. Let me catch my breath, please. It's really unfair of you to keep the pressure on me during the winter. What fucking planet? I mean, honestly, how are they this bad at this? How are they this fucking bad at this? One of the major players of World War II. How are they this bad at geopolitics? Short truce? Yeah, short truce like your dick, right, bud? The fuck is he talking about? I mean, honestly. Russia is seeking a quote-unquote short truce, a proposal Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky vehemently dismissed as it would allow Moscow forces to regain strength after suffering a series of battlefield defeats. They're still on the back foot. Ukraine's already crossed the Dnipro River and is still applying pressure. Officials in Russia have repeatedly said that they were ready to engage in peace talks without any conditions, but it's not clear if they have made a formal ceasefire offer, as mentioned by Zelensky on Friday. Like Hitler thing, setting up truce, then breaking them. I mean, it's not just Hitler, right? He didn't invent the tactic, right? But I guess he did make it famous. He really did clown what's his nuts there. Was it Chamberlain? Is it Chamberlain? I always say Wilt Chamberlain. Quote, Russia is now looking for a short truce, a respite to regain strength. Someone may call this the war's end, but such a respite will only worsen the situation, the Ukrainian leader said. Quote, a truly real, long-lasting, and honest peace can only be the result of the complete demolition of Russian aggression. And that's obviously true. That's obviously true. The only reason Putin's even talking about a short truce and pretending about this is because Russia has been spanking them. Or Ukraine has been spanking them. If Ukraine wasn't in this position of power, Russia wouldn't be interested in talking. Let's not pretend otherwise. Hammer and sickle Twitter. Okay? Let's not pretend like that's Putin just wants peace. He just wants to talk. He's the victim of NATO. Get that shit out of my motherfucking universe. I mean, come on, man. Come on. How the naked shilling needs to stop. Okay, and I know I'm straw manning. I don't think anyone in the chat believes that, but it's just like, I ain't hearing it, man. You want to have a sensible critique of NATO and talk about, how Russia very clearly drew a line and then crossed that line, and yeah, okay. Yeah. But there's you can criticize NATO, but you also need to be able to, you can criticize the United States empire, but you also need to have the ability to criticize the Russian empire. You can't be like one's better than the other. It just doesn't make any sense. Impact on war in Ukraine. Okay, that's fine. Moving on. Herson, why was Russia's military pushed back so effectively by Ukraine? This is by The Sun. Let's go ahead and have a listen here.
Putin's forces confirmed they had withdrawn from Kherson City. It was the largest of 4 regions annexed in September and is considered Russia's most symbolic loss since the war started in February. Putin's defense minister Sergei Shoigu ordered his troops out of the city and across the Dnipro River to take up new defensive lines on the 9th of November. Numerous evidence has emerged that Russian equipment and weapons were left in the retreat and have now been claimed by Ukrainian
Really, you think so,
forces.
John Axel?
The retreat was clearly a military failure and an indication of Russia's struggle to hold on to stolen land from advancing Ukrainian.
Well, yeah, Alice, and the invasion, and quite frankly, the invasion of Ukraine, changes the criticisms, the past criticisms against NATO. Because a lot of the criticisms, the modern criticisms against NATO is like, you guys have no need to be expanding and surrounding Russia. They're rational actors. They don't want to invade countries. They don't want to take extra territory, and we've been proven wrong. The naysayers were proven wrong. The people who thought they knew who Russia was, the Russian government and what that shit was about, they were wrong. Germany was wrong on Russia. So, now we have to go back and review every critique of NATO and try to recontextualize those critiques, because there's plenty to critique when it comes to NATO. But now, after this invasion, things need to be reevaluated in terms of how right or wrong NATO actually was in its preemptive, military positioning. I'm from Poland. We weren't coerced into joining NATO. We wanted to join because we were scared shitless. And let me tell you, Poland has been correct on Russia the entire time. Poland has been warning the world about Russian aggression. No doubt about it. They've been upfront telling us Russia has territorial desires. They want to take territory. And there were a lot of people like, come on, man, Russia doesn't, we're done with that. And countries invading other countries, we're done with that shit. This is a new era. This is the Fukuyama era, right? This is the beyond history, No. Poland was right. The naysayers are right. And a good chunk of NATO was correct. We need a complete reevaluation of NATO on the left. We really do. We need a complete reevaluation of NATO. I'm not trying to gargle NATO balls here. I'm just saying we need the invasion. The invasion tells us a lot about Russia. It really does. Exactly. We ignored Georgia. We ignored Crimea. Kind of ignored Crimea. I mean, the United States actually did a lot to get Ukraine ready for what was obviously an actual invasion. That's the whole reason why Ukraine got to keep Kyiv, was because of the efforts that started in 2014 by the United States. We need a complete reevaluation of NATO on the left. What can I say? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, tankies and other, and human rights activists and anti-war people. And I really legitimately am, because I'm right there up front when it comes to, we need to call out empires and we need to call out aggression and we need to call this militarization out. Fuck, man. No one was getting the memo on Russia, and now we got it. Not woke patriot. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we need to reevaluate our criticisms of NATO. Because of course the left is saying, we need to reform NATO. Yeah, but no, I'm saying as the left, as a body, as a political ideology, we need to reevaluate our criticisms of NATO. To reevaluate what they were right and wrong about. Because a big criticism of NATO is that they were wrong, that Russia was going to be a bad actor and have territorial gains. That was a major criticism of NATO and what it was doing. No, woke patriot. Come on, bud. You're the first person to call people out when they're being disingenuous and putting words in people's mouths. So come on, I'm really surprised to see you try that. I'm just saying, if the left wants to continue to be credible, because I'm not finding Aaron Mate credible right now. I'm not finding Medea Benjamin to be very credible right now. Right? Because they're still continuing with this CIA runs the world, everything is the fault of the United States narrative, and we're clearly seeing a much more complicated situation emerge. And I agree, though, even at the end of the day, even now, I still agree that we still need to reevaluate NATO, criticize NATO, and figure out where it was right and wrong. But I think the left needs to have a heart-to-heart with itself about the reality of NATO and how correct NATO has been and NATO supporters have been about Russia and Russia's territorial ambitions. It's right here in front of us. The proof is right here in front of us that Russia was interested in territorial gains. This is no accident. This is not a whoopsie doodle, my dick slipped in kind of situation. This is an intentional invasion to take over a country. Okay? That means there were some people that were correct, that were getting shit on by the anti-war left. I fully agree, woke patriot. I fully agree. With all that said, if we want to continue to be honest actors, the left needs to come to terms that there were some people inside NATO and supported NATO who were correct about Russia. If we want to continue to be honest actors, we need to come to terms with that some people who in NATO and who were supporting NATO when they were talking about Russia were correct. Pro-war, pro-aggression, pro-military people. They were correct.
Troops. Now, 1 week after Putin's forces completed their
There's a
withdrawal
lot of people on the
from
left who just
we spoke to
cannot
former
accept
British
that.
Army officer Dr. Mike Martin about what went wrong for Russia's
That's a big
forces, why Putin's retreat was a military failure, and what Ukraine's next
And I hear you,
objectives are.
Alice. You shouldn't be invaded. Poland deserves to be
I'm
free.
Mike Martin. I'm a former army officer who spent a couple of years serving in Afghanistan. I'm now a senior fellow at the War Studies Department at King's College in London. I think we've all been pretty surprised at what's happened in Ukraine. When the conflict started, everyone thought Russia are going to win this. Obviously, they're one of the top 3-4 militaries in the world. But actually, Ukraine has significantly overperformed, and the Russians have significantly underperformed. And so, apart from the initial stages of the war, where Russia took quite a lot of territory really, really quickly, for the last 6 months or so, the Russians have only lost territory to the Ukrainians, or rather the Ukrainians have regained that territory off the Russians. And so your viewers probably remember around Kyiv.
That's kind of the situation, Woke Patriot. Yeah.
And then a couple of months ago, there was another
it got a whole
big,
lot more complicated.
Ukrainian counteroffensive up in the northeast in a place called Kharkiv. And then most recently, over the last week or so, we've seen the Russians pull out from Kherson in the south. And overall, the Ukrainians have taken back about 75,000 square kilometers of territory. I think there are a number of reasons why Ukraine is winning and is, I think, going to eventually...
Clutch Cargo, you're 100% correct. There's a contingency inside Eastern Europe that have always been warning us about Russia. And they've always run up against the criticism of, well, that's ridiculous. Russia is going to be an honest actor. Russia is going to act rationally. Why would they risk their economy? Why would they risk, losing against Ukraine to invade it? It's totally ridiculous. And they were right. They were fucking right.
Eventually win this war. Their morale is much higher.
It's crazy,
than the
John
Russians.
Axel.
The Russians
It's
have got
nuts.
a conscript army. They're poorly equipped. Their morale is very poor. The Ukrainians are fighting to defend their homeland, and so for them it's existential. Also, logistics, stuff, bombs, bullets, fuel. The Russian logistics is pretty poor, and
let me give props to Woke Patriot in the chat for being an honest actor. Thank you. This is why I like you guys in the chat. You guys are awesome. Big props to everyone in the chat. But specifically, Davey, Woke Patriot, but everyone here in the chat, you're amazing. But I prefer honest actors, okay? And this is why I like people with principles. Because if you have principles, that means you'll defend a position instead of being all wishy-washy. Oh, well, that sounds kind of bad. I don't really believe in that, except I kind of do believe in it when I vote for it and I fully support it, but I don't really support it when bad stuff is brought up, and I don't really believe in anything. Those people, I will probably go to jail one day because of those people.
Ukrainians have consistently attacked it and undermined it, so the Russian soldiers just don't have the supplies that they need. On the other hand, the Ukrainians have got really, really good logistics. They're fighting on their home turf. Their local villagers are helping them. So again, on those two important things, morale and logistics, Ukraine
I can't wait for the
doing
game.
much better than
Dude,
Russia.
The roguelike military sim set in the Ukraine-Russia war, I'm going to be fucking #1 to be all over that shit, dude. I'm going to be streaming that like crazy.
And then finally, a little bit about how the armies fight. So Russia is quite a top-down army, right? It's conscripts. They've been forced to be there. And so the orders start at the top and then they trickle down to the bottom and everyone has to do what they're told. Whereas the Ukrainians fight much more like
Oh, wait a minute.
a European
Oh my God, is this the fucking bathroom thing? Hold on. Get my censor button ready.
or the American army, and they use something called mission command. And that's where
No, okay.
you tell people what they need to achieve, but not how they do it. And so what it does is it makes the army much more flexible and much more able to respond to setbacks or to take advantage of opportunities. So the Ukrainians at a tactical level have managed to outfight the Russians because they can take decisions quicker, whereas the Russians are still asking up their chain of command how they should respond to this particular situation. So although Kherson kind of burst onto our screens and into our newspapers a couple of weeks ago, actually the Ukrainians have been preparing this since about June or July, where they've been slowly edging, moving forward against the Russians in the south. And also, as we've discussed, they've been attacking the Russian supply lines in Kherson, so blowing up fuel dumps, ammunition dumps, attacking railway yards, taking out railway lines. So all that stuff that the Russian soldiers needed in Kherson to fight, they weren't getting. Your viewers might remember a couple of months ago, the Ukrainians dropped a really important bridge called the Kerch Bridge.
I think the paradox of peace and violence, and peace obtained through violence where absolutely necessary, is something that the left has always had a problem with. The right has no problem because they want violence anyway, so the right will use anything to justify violence. But clearly Vietnam, no dice. Violence wasn't the solution to that problem. Afghanistan, nope. Violence ain't the solution to that problem. Iraq, Cuba, nope. Violence ain't going to fix that one. North Korea, maybe. Maybe violence, well, maybe. I don't know. But clearly Ukraine, there's violence was necessary here. How does the left talk about the necessity of violence to obtain peace in Ukraine? Depends entirely on what solution you desire. Freedom. When Nazi Germany was invading Poland in 1939, communists in France and the UK were protesting parents in London honoring their alliance with Poland and entering World War II. Let's try to avoid the World War II comparisons. I know you're in Poland, so it's like fucking impossible. So I take that back. I'm sorry. Your history is intrinsically tied with World War II. Finland buys 38 used K9 self-propelled howitzers. What, to give to Ukraine? Or just to restock? I just don't, many people do seem, no, woke patriot, and you're the one that tries to call people out for being this way, and then you act this way. I'm not saying that. The ends clearly, because that's a final statement. That's like a ethos for how you deal with everything. It's a filter that you would put through life. The ends justify the means. We need a slogan that would accurately define, violence when absolutely necessary. It's situational, right? But we have people in charge who they told us, George Bush told us Iraq and Afghanistan were absolutely essential, right? Barack Obama told us we got a medal in Syria, right? They were wrong. They were wrong. They were wrong in Vietnam, right? So what makes this more correct in Ukraine? Without violence, Ukraine would be Russia. It'd be Russia-stan. I don't know if I'm smart enough to handle the question, to be quite honest with you. Do we need a computer to figure out when it's appropriate to use violence to defend oneself versus this is not a defense worthy of supporting? But is always a consequence. War at times may be necessary, but is always a consequence. Bush gins up the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah, he did. He lied to us all. It was completely illegal and unnecessary. U.S. invading Iraq is nothing like. No, you're right, Alice. You're right, but it is an example of a country using violence to solve a problem that they ginned up, that they created, right? But it was an attempt of a country to use violence to solve a problem of another country that completely failed. Right. We even, and we tried the proxy war thing. We tried to get the Afghanistan army going, right, with our own tools and training. Completely fell apart. Right. What makes Ukraine justified versus that not being justified? Because I believe the defense of Ukraine is justified, but why? Why specifically, right? There's a consideration of ends and would begin just it means also the real difference between acts of violence and violent self-defense from acts of violence. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Is that the difference? That this is clearly defensive? Elon says Trump will be reinstated. I was never within doubt. I don't give a shit. Fuck Elon Musk. Fuck Trump. Fuck Twitter. I believe in free speech, so let him be unbanned. I've been saying since day one, since his ban, I said you should probably unban him. So whatever. He gets to have his fucking victory lap right during his presidential election. That's great. We get maximum clownage on Ron DeSantis. Dude, if Trump wins the primaries, oh, fucking hallelujah. Hallelujah, man. Trump winning the primaries and we get Trump fucking presidential election. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I can only be so erect. Okay, the goddamn thing's going to shoot off into space like a Tesla Model X. Ukrainian defense of itself is, in my opinion, honestly, unquestionably justified. Exactly. But it's also unquestionable that violence is a key element to that defense. Brutal violence. I'm talking people lying alive on their belly, getting shot the fuck up, getting a grenade dropped from a goddamn $30 Best Buy drone. Right? All justified. How bizarre. How macabre, you know?
In between Crimea and Russia, and that was a kind of major supply line. And so when the Russians pulled out last week, what they said was, we're not pulling out because we're under direct military pressure from the Ukrainians, but actually we're pulling out because we can't supply our soldiers anymore, which, amounts to the same thing. But this Ukrainian strategy of constantly undermining and attacking the Russian supply lines paid off. And ultimately the Russians, 10 or 20,000 Russian soldiers were stuck on the wrong side of the river. They couldn't get supplies to them and they had to pull out. So Kherson was a really important city in military strategic terms. There's a big river that runs,
it's an amazing
basically
story,
cuts
Clutch
Ukraine
Cargo.
in half, called the Dnipro. It runs from Crimea in the south all the way up to Kyiv in the north. Kherson was the only foothold that the Russians had on the west bank of the Dnipro River, so on the other side of the Dnipro River from Russia. And so for them, it was a foothold that they could use for future operations, and it stopped Ukraine being able to put a defensive line along that river. So the fact that the Russians have had to withdraw from Kherson is a huge military defeat, as well as being a symbolic one, because it was one of the territories that they claimed as Russian, yet they've just had to withdraw from it.
And you know what I've been hearing, and thank you, Alice, by the way, for what you're saying out there in Poland. I can understand from the Polish perspective, it's a far more, direct kind of crisis, it being your neighbor and then also the history that you have with Russia. But I've been hearing that this winter might actually be a massive boon to the Ukrainian military, freezing up these marshy areas that it's basically all of the Crimean area is just this fucking swamp, and it's going to freeze things and make it actually a lot easier to get gear moving around. So we might actually see a winter offensive, taking advantage of the Russians' ill-equipped soldiers who are going to be, probably less mobile in these harsher conditions as things get colder and colder. Even if it is going to be a mild winter, it is still going to be winter. And, if you don't have the proper coats and boots and socks and everything, even a mild winter will fuck your shit right up if you're, if you're not properly equipped out there. So.
Obviously, Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union, so a lot of the military equipment that they use is very similar to the military equipment that the Russians use. So when the Russians are leaving behind equipment, the Ukrainians are able to take it over, integrate it into their forces, and most of them are trained on how to use the equipment. So it's particularly dangerous for Russia to leave behind equipment without destroying it. And the fact that that equipment wasn't destroyed, usually when you're retreating, if you can't withdraw with your equipment, you blow it up or damage it. The fact that that wasn't blown up or damaged or in any way disabled I think speaks to how quickly the Russians left, how great the panic was, and how poorly planned their retreat was. A military.
I think the Ukrainians are going to take care of each other, and I think we're going to see not as many people freeze to death as what some of the more cynical people have been saying. Not that you are, but I think the Ukrainian people are going to do what they can to to help each other out and make sure that they don't they don't freeze to death.
Withdrawal is, I think, it's probably the most difficult military maneuver that you have to carry out.
He's talking about a military withdrawal.
The reason that is because you need to thin out all of your supplies and logistics behind your front line because you don't want the enemy to capture them. But your troops also need to have supplies whilst they're fighting this withdrawal or fighting a retreat. And the other thing you should do is to try and conduct your withdrawal in secret and then announce it afterwards to the world. And the Russians didn't necessarily manage to achieve all of that. And it would be very difficult for a well-trained army, but let alone the Russian army, which is not very well-trained. So they did, in the end, leave quite a lot of supplies behind, which the Ukrainians are now taking advantage of. And that's equipment.
But they had so much forewarning. We heard weeks in advance. We heard that they were pulling out and moving away. Right, they were pulling out of Kherson. They moved the flags. So they had weeks in advance, and they still somehow ended up leaving behind so much equipment. And then the equipment that they left behind wasn't booby trapped or exploded or ruined in any kind of way. That's nuts. You actually look at what's happening in Ukraine. The civil society between 100 people have been incredible to watch, and also Poland, another country you're hosting. Yeah. No, it's been great to see, but this winter will absolutely test the mettle of the Ukrainian people, no doubt about it. And that's what Russia's depending on. That's what they are absolutely depending. They want to break the Ukrainian civilians. They want to break the support that Zelensky is enjoying. And so far, so good. But people can only take so much, and that's what Russia is depending on.
Also fuel and ammunition. They did indeed leave a couple of thousand soldiers on the wrong side as well, and many of those had to change into civilian clothing and try and escape. And then, of course, the big mistake they made was to announce that they were withdrawing before they'd completed their withdrawal. So they probably took a few more losses than they needed to have because of that big announcement that they made.
I don't think so.
They were actually withdrawing. So as the Russians retreated, they...
Look how careful this guy places this mine.
They left a bunch of booby traps and mines, and they left explosives under bridges and culverts and all that stuff. And that's pretty normal tactics, because what it does is it slows down the advancing force. So you can leave the booby traps out and then retreat, and then the Ukrainians, in this case, as they're coming forward, have to deal with those before they can close with and engage the Russian forces. So yeah, there's lots of reports of Russian surprises left behind for the Ukrainians. But I think most of those now, what are we, a week on? I think most of those now are being dealt with, have been dealt with. Before the Russians withdrew from Kherson city, they built these defensive lines on the other side of the river, on the side of the river nearest Russia. And they actually built 3 parallel lines of defenses. So these are pretty...
I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, it's really hard to get an idea of any opposition, right? Because if you want to be in Putin's circle, you have to fully agree with what he wants. So it's really hard for me, especially as an amateur, to predict, if Putin getting assassinated would change anything. I mean, for all I know, it'd make it worse. Someone would be like, "Oh yeah, the solution is Putin didn't do a full draft and call it a war, and yeah, we're at complete war," and then drops a bomb on fucking Poland or something, right? And like, yeah, the solution is to get open up another front. That's that's the real solution. Like after Putin's executed, right? Putin was just being a pussy. He was trying to play pussyfoot here. We got to show him the might of the Russian military. Right? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, are you even allowed to have a different opinion? I think you're not. I think it's like almost illegal for you to have a different opinion than what Putin wants. So, I don't know. I really don't know. And to be honest with you, articulate mule. And for YouTube there, Putin was asking, I don't know how an assassination would help. His successor just takes his place and continues, because Davey was talking about, well, maybe maybe Putin will be executed by the end of the year. So does he? Because I've heard from a very credible source that he actually doesn't have a successor lined up. And that's one of the major problems. He intentionally doesn't have a successor lined up so that, removing him will be, very messy. It's illegal to have any opinion. That's what I thought.
Pretty sophisticated and well fortified defensive lines.
We're getting to the combat
the thing
footage,
about defensive
folks.
lines
Don't
is
you worry.
can't move them, right? So if you're trying to attack them, you don't want to go through them. You want to go around them. And although information security is very tight, we've actually
Those who talk don't know, and those who know don't talk. Ain't that the fucking truth?
seen some inklings on various social media channels over the last couple of days that it looks like
I don't think
Ukraine
about politics.
is
Never heard of
has
it.
done an amphibious landing in a place called Kinburn Split, and also is looking at doing a left flanking maneuver from their perspective so that it can come around both sides of these fortifications. Because, of course, once you've got around the fortifications, then you're amongst the Russian forces and you're attacking their flanks. So I think we need to watch this space, but it certainly seems like the initial stages of that are being done at the moment. So I think now the thing to watch over winter is that Ukraine is going to continue fighting. That's quite clear. They're better equipped for winter. They've got better morale than the Russians, so they will continue fighting because they will be at an advantage over the Russians.
Yeah.
It's also clear that their goal is Crimea. The taking of Crimea in 2014 by the Russians is totally tied up with Putin personally and politically, and so it's the strategic center of gravity for the Ukrainians. It's unlikely that they're going to launch a direct military assault, but if we look at how the Ukrainians have operated so far, there's only 3 ways into Crimea. They'll cut those, they'll cut the supply lines into Crimea, and then they'll start bleeding the Russian military of the supplies that it needs to operate effectively in Crimea. So that's the step.
They'll probably just do just a massive flank, just a phalanx of Ukrainian phalanx that cuts Crimea right off.
Stage that I see developing over the winter, and then of course in the spring we'll see a more fluid offensive start up. I expect the war to be over by next summer and in Ukraine's favor.
Damn. Even throws it. This guy was soft spoken. And it was kind of hard to stay awake, but he was actually spot on with everything that he was saying. I don't know who he was, but he fucking knew it. I feel like he knew what the fuck he was talking about. From my perspective, amateur, of course. Wonder what the range is with the mortar. They can already hit it. They can hit the entirety of Crimea already with the HIMARS that they have equipped. Moving on here. Rishi Sunak meets Zelensky in surprise visit of Ukraine. It has to be a surprise visit. You would never, of course, want, because technically Kyiv is well within Russia's missile range. They can easily bomb Kyiv. So it might be, but hey, it might be actually, you might want to tell Russia so that they don't accidentally start an international incident by bombing Kyiv when the Rishi Sunak. Could you imagine Rishi Sunak gets blown up in a Russian airstrike? Dude, World War III, guys. World War III. It's just one diplomat away. They can hit the northern edge. Crimea is just out of range of HIMARS. Okay, maybe the analysis that I saw was that if they had specific kinds of weapons that they're asking for, possibly they're asking for weapons that could. Regardless, they're going to be closing the gap. Like I said, they've already crossed the Dnipro River, pushing in closer. They're it's only a matter of time. They can only hit about 10 miles into the northern edge. That's plenty. That's plenty. Keep moving. Keep moving backwards. Man, if I was a Russian soldier.
Really good to see you. It's very good to see you. Well, there we go. I was going to say, I've got my coat for later. But your team have been fantastic. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if he was he just immediately just starts criticizing him with a bunch of lefty Twitter, Where are you a Nazi? He starts calling him a Nazi, starts Zeke heiling, and it just starts like just digging into him immediately with a bunch of the lefty bullshit. Sunak gets taken out of the UK and gets yet another PM. Would it be P, what, number 4? Frankincense license incense. What would that be? Like 4 and 6 months? That, yeah, man. Why not? He provide a new 50 million package. Oh, is that it? Isn't it amazing that there are single individuals that could, you know, if Jeff Bezos wanted, he could drop, you know, $500 million on Zelensky just like that? A man, not a country, a man. We should bet on the next time Zelensky wears a suit. You know, we should. I'm betting he wears a suit. He wears a suit when he announces victory. I think that's when he's going to put the suit on. Is when he announces the complete and total victory over Russia. When he pushes out Russia completely from his country. And and he announces his victory. I think that's when he's going to put the suit on. Must be depressing being not a second choice PM, but literally a 5th choice. Well, you know, if I was him, I would actually be like, this is an historic vindication, because he ran his, you know, when he was running against Liz Truss, he ran saying all the bad shit that, you know, happened because of the budget things that she was proposing, that she put in the mini budget. So honestly, if I was Rishi Sunak, I would be like, Mr. I told you so, fucking literally every conversation. Tory party must have really short bench if Sunak's the best way. I mean, the Tory party's in shambles. It really is just a, you know, last gasp to get to the elections, right? They're not going to be able to gaslight the public unless they show us some of these hidden Brexit benefits. They really got to find those Brexit benefits, though. They're looking under every stone for them goddamn Brexit benefits, because unless they can show people that Brexit was a good idea, people are going to be convinced that, you know, that's a bad idea. Unless Keir Starmer decides not to run on Brexit because he's actually been intentionally avoiding talking about Brexit, which is an interesting strategy, because people are so sick and tired of talking about Brexit that even though they know it's negative and it caused all the negative issues, they just don't even want to fucking talk about it anymore. So we also have that dynamic. Harsh, long, cold winter in Ukraine for the Russians. Hell yeah. People are sick and tired of it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it anymore. They don't care. They don't care. It's you can talk about how you're going to make the economy better, you know, and you might be able to say, well, one of the reasons the economy is bad is because of Brexit, but you can't be running on, you know, I'm the anti-Brexit guy. I think they did that for 2 elections, right? It just, they're done with it. First rule of Brexit, you don't talk about Brexit. People are sick of it. Russians have been targeting the power grid. They have. So here's Zelensky. Ukrainian forces repel 100 attacks in the Donetsk region. Something else right here.
Наджорстокі бойові дії на Донеччині тривають і досі. Жодних пом'якшень боїв чи передишок не було. Тільки за вчорашню добу відбито близько 100 російських атак в Донецькій області. Всі наші воїни, які тримають позиції на Донбасі, справжні герої. В Херсоні сьогодні відкрили спеціальні пункти незламності. Перші 2 буде більше. Поки налагоджується електрика в місті, люди можуть підзарядити телефони, зігрітися, випити чаю, отримати допомогу, розгорнули там зв'язок, є старлінки тощо. Ми знаємо, що людям дуже складно, бо окупанти зруйнували все перед втечею, але все підключимо, все ми відновимо. Говорив сьогодні з президентом Туреччини Ердоганом. Подякував за зусилля для продовження нашої експортної зернової ініціативи. Обговорили ще й деталі нашої нової гуманітарної ініціативи Grain from Ukraine. Сподіваюсь, що Туреччина долучиться до її реалізації. Звичайно, приділили увагу і безпековій співпраці, і ситуації в енергетиці.
Let's turn our attention to Ukraine now.
So obviously not the whole speech there, but you know, just it's. I find it so interesting that Turkey, you know, the Erdogan is like having meetings with Putin, slapping each other's back, and then you also have Zelensky thanking him for making this grain initiative happen. I think if I was ever going to study politics in college, I might actually pick Turkey. Because I am dying to understand the logic behind Turkish politics. How is Erdogan able to do this? How can he skate both this conflict in this way? It's fascinating. I think a whole documentary should be dedicated to it. Turkey is in deep shit economically. It's just amazing how Putin, you know, I just don't get it. Russia fires dozens of missiles. Ukraine says experts in Poland, Zelensky, not sure about blast. So I picked out this video. I'm not sure of this network. I'm not sure if this is a biased network or not. Crux. But I picked out this video because I wanted to do a follow-up because there's a real criticism here with Zelensky who doesn't want to admit that it was likely the missile that killed 2 people in Poland recently was likely fired by Ukrainian anti-air. And Poland's already come out. Everyone's already said, Zelensky, buddy, we don't blame you, man. You know, it's not your fault. We're blaming Russia for this one. And he's pretty fucking goddamn insistent. And, you know, he wants to send his own inspectors there. So the question I want to ask everybody here in the chat is, does Zelensky have the right to investigate this, right? Because I'm pretty sure we're all pretty sure what conclusion he's going to come with this, you know, from this investigation. And, you know, would it be smarter for, that's the second part of the question here, would it be smarter for Zelensky to just, you know, take the L on this one and make a public statement that, you know, hey, we thought it was, and after looking at the investigation that, you know, we've been provided all the materials from the investigation, we do believe that this was munitions that was fired from a Ukrainian anti-air missile defense system, you know, fired at a Russian cruise missile that was being fired at us. What do you guys think? Joint investigation with Poland to collaborate. Okay, Poland has and Ukrainian has, but I think he should let it go. He already is backpedaling, saying he isn't sure. Really? When did he say that? When did he say he isn't sure? I didn't know about that part. I think he has the right to, but he should just say, sorry, that happened, but fuck Russia. Probably the smart move. I think he just doesn't speak about it. He just sweeps it under the rug and like whatever, not talk about it. I think he should just make a quick statement saying, you know, we looked, you know, just come out 5 minutes. Like we, you know, hey, I looked at the investigation, bop, thank you, bye. Like not acknowledge that he was wrong and just, you know, go back. That's probably the political way of handling this. And, you know, to the lefties that want to criticize Zelensky for trying to use this opportunity to get more weapons, to try to get more NATO support, I hear you, but I also understand that Zelensky is the commander of a war. And I also don't, you know, blame Zelensky for wanting to use this opportunity as an opportunity. This tragedy as an opportunity to get more weapons and support from NATO. Like, I see both sides of the argument, is what I'm trying to say. Russians will use it as a propaganda piece. Oh, look what else he has led. No, exactly. Yeah, I think he should just make a statement and say, like, okay, I agree. It was our anti-air, and then walk back into the motherfucking capital, right? Zelensky on missile blast in Poland. I don't know 100% what happened. Oh, okay. And that's reported by The Hill. Of course it is. Boy, The Hill's all over this story. The quote might have been misconstrued. He might still be super sure, but can't rule it out if that's what he meant. He needs to, come on, man. Okay, this, you know, He doesn't need this shit right now. He needs to come out, make a 5-minute statement. I agree with the international consensus. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. I got a war to win. Bow. Whoop. That's what the international community wants, right? Come on, man. Come on, man. Just take the L on this one and move on. Man, if I was Zelensky, I'd want to use everything to get the support, but at this point, this isn't helping. That's what I'm saying, Alice. Yeah, and I agree. Zelensky's military secret was insisting it wasn't theirs, so he insisted the same. That's what I'm saying, Woke Patriot, that he's got people that don't want to get fired, right? And it's like, no, you got to take some L's here. You got to accept sometimes, right? No one wants to take blame, so he's getting bad advice. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to carry water for a politician that, he's a politician, right? And he's an actor. So, all these things need to be considered. But at the same time, I think he's a genuine person that wants to really help and actually win this war. So, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, come on, Zelensky, just do it. Make that statement. Boom, bada boing, you're done. Moving on. I don't think it's Russia either. What, Ryan? What? No, I mean, it was Ukrainian anti-air fired against a Russian cruise missile. If there was even a shred of doubt, Poland would have said it was Russia. Needs to walk this one back.
Щойно відбулася чергова російська терористична атака. Зранку. Десятки ракет, цивільні об'єкти, головна мішень. Росія воює проти електрики, тепла, головна мішень. Росія воює проти електрики і тепла для людей, підриває електростанції і інші енергооб'єкти.
100% fact. Terrible. Wow. I agree, Ryan. And that's interesting game theory, Woke Patriot. Didn't consider that angle. Here we go. Wintertime, boys. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. Exactly. Poland came out with that statement. They said it's Russia's fault. Oh man. Hey, President Trump, stick around, bud. I got a question to ask you. Yeah. No, I get you, Arctic Mule, but they're going to say that anyway. You know what I mean? They're totally going to say that shit anyway. Definitely good news about the grain deal. Man, I like this crux. This is my kind of news, man. I'm digging this.
I want to express my deep commitment and the commitment of the UN to do everything possible for the smooth implementation of this agreement in Istanbul by the Joint Coordination Center, and also to remove the remaining obstacles to the unimpeded exports of Russian food and fertilizers, essential to avoid a food crisis next year too.
Well, Woke Patriot, I don't mean to be a bit pedantic, but I do recall this is one of the few ones where the commie Twitter left got it right. They were looking at reports from the Ukrainian weapons tracker Twitter account, and they were very early coming out saying this was likely fired by the Ukrainian military. And, they know their shit. They're military nerds, I guess. So not exactly everybody was saying that, but a lot of people were saying that. I was thinking it was Russia as well. I thought it was a stray missile that went into Poland. Or possibly, a provocation, right? I was, game theorying on that, but yeah, no, I think it was pretty, I think the investigation, like Ryan said, it was Ryan or someone in the chat there said the investigation was done by Poland, and if there was a shred of doubt, Poland would come out and say it was Russia. So that really means that it was very clearly coming from Ukraine. If Poland's coming out here and saying, yeah, it was definitely Ukraine. So it wasn't Russian, John Axel. No. Yeah. So it's a Soviet made munition. Okay. It was made during the Soviet Union. But it was fired by the Ukrainian military as an anti-air munition that missed its mark. And thank you for that follow, Alice Technica. Sure. But no, I mean, it's undeniable to deny that there were a lot of people being like, oh shit, dude, oh no, what's Russia up to now? No doubt about it. Okay, U.S. and Russian spy chiefs meet in Turkey. That's interesting. Uh-oh. Of course they do. Please, Uncle Sam, help me save face. Shifting goalposts.
Дело в том, что, действительно, у украинских визави, скажем так, 7 пятниц на неделе, то они ведут переговоры, то они отказываются от переговоров. Потом они принимают фактически закон, который запрещает вести какие вот...
Well, I put World War III in my title, and you criticized me for calling it World War III. I remember when you did that. Because that's what everyone was talking about. That's what they were saying. World War III, World War III. So I wanted to talk like, do we think, I remember, do we think that this is World War III? And that was the discussion. And, my conclusion was that, yeah, we're pretty far away from World War III. Yeah, I'm really glad cooler heads prevailed. And it's really nice to see how, like, when shit gets serious, how, like, serious that they take it, and like they really want to make sure, like, okay, the next action that we take is the right action, right? That gives me a little bit of, relief, that there wasn't just a, hit the button, kind of response like you'd see in a cartoon or something, And yeah, if it was a legitimate Russian missile, it would be Article 4. It wouldn't be Article 5. Yeah, that's another smart observation. Because Russia told China to shut the fuck up about nukes. China told Russia. You think so? Really? You think so? Oh yeah. Oh no, we can't do public negotiations. Why? Because we don't want to see how much of a bad actor you are in those negotiations. Oh yeah, it's too sensitive. We can't have a talk about peace in public. We can't do that. This motherfucking guy. This guy's the worst. Even if it were Russia, the first step would be determining whether it's deliberate or accidental. I highly doubt it was deliberate, even if Russian. Yeah, I was pretty doubtful of that as well. It was like, man, Russia don't want that heat. They don't want this fucking heat. No way that they did this intentionally.
Однозначно, украинская сторона не хочет никаких переговоров. Специальная военная операция продолжается.
Hey, no, Ukraine will negotiate. Well, they'll be happy to negotiate Russia's surrender. Ukraine's totally willing to negotiate. I don't know what people are talking about. They don't want that NATO smoke. Oh, yeah, it's Ukraine's fault. This guy is one of the most dishonest politician, the most dishonest person in a tie. I've never seen such a liar. And I've seen Donald Trump. Hey, Ukraine would love to negotiate the surrender of Russia. Not a problem. Right? You want free passage for your troops and soldiers to leave my country? Here you go, bud. Doors over there. Both parties agree. As far as I know, there was no such no such objection from the American side. Such access could be obtained soon. So yeah, the Ukrainians might get their chance to investigate, and man, if the Ukrainians want to really show the world just how different they are than Russia, if they do their own investigation and agree that it was their own Ukrainian munition, and then he makes that statement that says, yes, it was a Ukrainian munition and we apologize to Poland, and then moves on, man, talk about baller move. That would be great. The reports do seem pretty goddamn credible. Anxious to decide that the explosion would require the agreement of both U.S. and Poland. Let's do it. Come on, what's the hold up? So interesting, here's the quote. We don't know for sure, the world does not know, but I'm sure that it was a Russian missile. Okay, well, yeah, that's a mistranslation because he's contradicting himself, right? I don't know what happened, but I'm sure that it was a Russian missile. I am sure that we fired from air defense systems. But I am sure that it was a Russian missile. I am sure that we fired from air defense systems. He was right on the Russian missile because it was Soviet made, yeah. Welcome back, nickname. Welcome back, Rye87, by the way. We just sent 90 missiles to fuck up their energy infrastructure as a nice war crime, but it's not our fault. And yeah, how come no one wants to negotiate with us? It's, they're the real bad guys here. But it is impossible to talk about something specific today, that it was the air defense of Ukraine. Yeah, okay, bro, just take the L on this one. Please, Zelensky, you're killing me. Yeah. I can't believe you would let me continue punching you. This is your fault. Kaczynski wasn't still in Defense Committee for Poland. I'm too dumb to understand that reference. They know that the missile it was, but they don't know who it was. They know the missile was Russian origin, but not who owned it. No, he's not gonna. It's just unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. You don't need to swallow this one. You don't need to do that. You know what I mean? All right, we're gonna move on. I like this channel though. I'm gonna subscribe and check out some more of their stuff. I like their vibe. So here we go. We've got some combat footage for you boys. Here we go. HIMARS in action. Oh, you're talking about the Kaczynski, de facto ruler of the ruling party. I see what you're saying. Gonna get DMCA by a Russian or Ukrainian band. Yes, I see. Are you gonna drop those on the civilians in Donbas like the Ukrainians did in 2014 after Russia innocently invaded the Donbas? Russia was just doing nothing. They were just minding their own fucking business. And then the Ukrainians killed a bunch of civilians with HIMARS and shit. In the Donbas, they bombed their own civilians. You fucking believe that? I don't know what's happening in the chat right now. Russia borrows 13.6 billion in largest ever debt insurance in a single day to continue faltering war. Oof. That is bad fucking news. That is bad fucking news, folks. Let's take a look here. I'm curious if we're going to get any Iranian news. Let's get a quick. Hundreds of protesters in Iran blinded by metal pellets and rubber bullets. Security forces have been firing ammunition that has ruptured the eyes of anti-government demonstrators. We'll get to the big blast in St. Petersburg. Iranian soldiers open fire on protesters' family. Sees body. Okay, we already covered that. All right. I need to get a better source of up-to-date news on Iran. Okay. Russia has borrowed its largest amount of cash ever in a single day to raise funds for the Ukraine war. British defense chiefs have said. Who are they borrowing from? On Wednesday, Russia's finance ministry borrowed 13.6 billion as it conducted its biggest ever debt insurance in a single day in order to continue Vladimir Putin's faltering invasion. Oh, this can't be good. Let me just go ahead and get World War III started yet. Are you ready, cynical gamer? Are you ready for the fall of humanity? I don't think you would last 5 fucking minutes, to be frank. Cynical gamer. I don't think you're ready for the end of the fucking world, bud. In its latest report, the Ministry of Defense warned that the money raised as a key mechanism to sustain defense spending. While the amount raised suggests confidence in the current fiscal climate, the ministry is likely anticipating its increasingly uncertain fiscal environment over the next year, the MOD said. So let's read this intelligence report. I went last one, neither would you. Yeah, well, that's why I'm not out here, cheering it on like some jackass. Take your nihilism and shove it square up your whoop-de-woo. Intelligence update. On 16th November 2022, Russia conducted its largest ever debt insurance in a single day, raising ruble 820 USD 13.6 billion. So what, they borrowed from themselves? Is that what they did? This is important for Russia, as debt insurance is a key mechanism to sustain defense spending, which has increased significantly since the invasion of Ukraine. Russia declared national defense spending more than 2023 is planned at approximately ruble 5 trillion, $84 billion, a more than 40% increase on the preliminary 2023 budget announced in 2021. Debt issuance, not insurance, debt issuance is expected during periods of uncertainty. The size of this auction highly likely indicates the Russian Ministry of Finance perceives current conditions as relatively favorable, but is anticipating an increasingly uncertain fiscal environment over the next year. So, man, those oil sales are really helping Russia here. I feel like these oil sales are really backing Russia up. But maybe they're just being rosy about their predictions. They're not allowed to tell the truth. Maybe that's what's going on. Drones at the future. One of the captain realizes surrenders a chance to survive and oppose. So this is interesting. We're now seeing Russian soldiers surrender to the drone. They're looking up and they're like, yo, we don't want that smoke. Yo, Project Pat here representing. Project Pat representing Ukrainian liberation. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd be lining up to surrender, dude. I'd be like, yo, can I get citizenship? Look a brother up, man. Okay, and I already have that one lined up. Yeah, so that's fascinating. Surrendering to drones. Giant fireball erupts after huge explosion on St. Petersburg gas pipeline. So we have more cases of sabotage. By the way, welcome back, Oh My God Sticks, and welcome back everybody that's been here before, including you lurkers. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay, bud. No one's impressed. Like, literally no one's impressed. What are you going to tell us? You're going to go masturbate now? Man, no one fucking cares, bud. All right? You're embarrassing yourself, man. All right? Clean yourself up and come on back here when you're ready to represent yourself, homie. Properly. Like a real man. Not a puss. Not a puss bitch. Oh, yeah. Give him a hug. That's what he needs. I'll give him a hug. I'll slap them cheeks, boy. Damn. So, I mean, what do we have? More sabotage? You know? I think, man, I tell you, I think there's a lot of Russian people that are not cool with this. I think this is Russian people doing this. Damn, dude, damn. You can probably feel the heat inside the car. Dude, this is nuts. This is a raging inferno. This is one of those things that you can only stop when you have to like throw dynamite at it. Right? Because it sucks all the oxygen out and kills the flame immediately. It's not unreasonable, but we might never know because even if Russia investigates, to not reveal true information. No. Yeah, and the same thing with the pipeline. You know, there's too many hands in that pot. We'll never know who fucking did the pipeline. We'll never know. Dude, they're gonna JFK that shit. Whoa, dude, whoa. Whoa, holy fuck. Oh, fucking Michael Bay, get on the horn. Jesus, dude, look at that. Dude, it's as tall as a building. Hiding in a countryside 2 regions away, dodging the draft, but his own father ratted him out. Man, that's really sad. That's sad stuff. You may need to censor the ending. It shows them evacuating wounding from a drone in the distance. Yeah, I better not show it. I better not show that one. Let me take a look. See if I can show this one. Damn, dude. Damn. Okay, that's not a joke, man. Okay, we're talking how many miles away from the fire is the person filming right now? Bro, no way. Yeah, no, Davey, I can't show this video. Yeah, because he fucking wastes these guys. And you see a dead soldier in the road. Yeah, no dice on that one. Can't show that one, Davey. I wonder how the housing market's doing in Western Russia lately. Probably great. You know, there's probably a lot of houses, and they're probably very cheap. And I mean, it's probably a great time. I was thinking, you know what? You know, might be a good opportunity to buy a house in Crimea. You know what I mean? Kind of tempted to look at if I could buy a house in Crimea, you know what I mean? That'd be a good opportunity right there. Rent it out pennies to the dollar to a Ukrainian family. Beginning is just him shooting through the trees. Yeah, I better not. I better not on that one. I got a bad feeling about that one, Davey. I don't want to get in trouble. I can feel Jeff Bezos's wandering eyes. Start buying up land. Yeah, no, be a total capitalist. End up owning a pile of ash. Oh, what? Because of nuclear blast? Please, girl. Capitalism for the win. No, but it'd be nice to have like a little vacation home in Crimea, you know, and maybe like, you know, rent it out or do an Airbnb or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. My currency sucks, though. It's not like having the dollar. It was so nice having the dollar. Everything, the whole world's your oyster if you're spending the dollar, you know. But when you start spending other currencies that are not the dollar, it sucks. It sucks. The Canadian dollar is 70% value to the US dollar. It's basically 70 cents to the dollar. It's terrible. It only cost Elon $44 billion to unban Trump. Cheap. I think this is a captured Russian vehicle here, and these guys are wearing winter clothes. It's propaganda. Crimea Airbnb witnessed the Russian retreat in 4K. It'd be cool. It'd be cool. Like, you know, like give you know, some Ukrainians, you know, let them live there or something. I don't know. It'd be cool. But I don't really have dollars, so I can't really get away with shit anymore. Hey, either you're winning or you're losing. That's how games played to win. I understand, but also here's the Ukrainian super celebrating his birthday on the front line. Oh my God. This ought to be something. Kronos, welcome back. Welcome back, Kronos. Good to see you, bud. Birthday partying. Cooked from the heart. Oh, sallow. There's that more of that sallow shit that these guys like to eat. The fucking congealed like fat and protein. Oh, things are going well. You know, I'm living in the lap of luxury over here in Canada. I think I'm going to drink a bunch of coffee and smoke a bunch of weed, snort some Adderall, watch all Fast and Furious movies. Homie, your old heart. What? I worry about you, woke patriot. Be careful, buddy. You're gonna hurt yourself. You know, it's Adderall or weed. Pick one or the other. I would recommend just the weed. Just do the weed. Your dad loves Salo? It's old school shit. Need a 150? Only 120. That's funny. He's talking about the mortars. Like, the only thing we got are 120s. We ain't got no 150s. That does look pretty good though. The salami. So it's like a spread you'd put on the crackers, some kind of like lard, fatty, protein, high protein spread. I bet it's good. I bet it's tasty. I hate it personally, but old people love it. Is it really, really salty? Donetsk region. Is he having a hard time eating it? It's insanely salty, fatty, and greasy. That's what I thought. I'll be fine. Now the Constitution, William S. Burroughs, and Keith Richard rolled into one. Oh shit! So you're gonna live longer than the fucking Twinkies and cockroaches. Have it at home if God allows us to get here. Clean my Beretta. Make sure it's clean. You gotta maintain your handguns for proper use when you need them. Well, that's interesting. Nice little birthday celebration there. It's different on the battlefield, you know. Different on the battlefield. Some people love it somehow. It doesn't look very good to me. When you're congealing fat into anything, it's like, unless that shit's going into a stew or something, you know. Never liked the Beretta 9. Beretta 9's all right. This video allegedly shows fortifications being built in Henchikia's Herka, north of Crimea. Crimea's temporary governor, Azkyanov, confirmed the construction of trenches in the peninsula. Don't pat yourself on the back too early there, buddy. You might want to find that exit ferry, you know, real quick. You might want to make sure you got that ferry locked down so you can get the fuck out of there when the Ukrainians come knocking on your door, big guy. So they got these are proper dragon's teeth. Okay, these are not like the rinky-dink ones we saw the Ukrainians driving over. These are definitely absolutely the ones that'll stop a tank. And then look at these. Look at these fancy ass fucking wood braced motherfucking trenches here, boys. Wow. It's gonna make it really easy to drop a grenade from a $30 drone right in there. It's gonna make it real tough. Man. Yeah, that looks like a good grave. Work as a grave as well. Not even close to being done either. Better get to work. Holy shit. You better get to work. You got a lot more to dig, man. They're gonna party like it's 1917. Yeah, why not? They're busting out the World War II tactics. Why not bust out the World War I? I mean, trenches are important. Trenches will probably be important in the last human war. You know, there'll always be a need for trenches. No, I mean, trenches make sense in certain contexts. They can make sense, but trenches aren't worth a damn if your soldiers just run the first time a pressure is applied. You know, trenches aren't worth a damn if your soldiers don't want to stay in them and actually fire back. You know, so it's just like, it doesn't. You can build all the trenches you want, man. These guys are gonna book at the moment pressure's applied. But trenches are still an effective and important modern military tactic. But they don't mean jack shit if you don't know what to do with them. So there you go. They're getting ready. They're not fucking around. They're getting ready. They know they're coming, and they're ready to fight. Russian mobilized soldiers review their helmets and body armor, which are easily damaged with knives and bullets. I mean, I still have a hard time believing that this is the case, but we see more and more videos of rusty AKs and armor made out of cardboard and foam and, and just rubber. Is not going to stop a bullet. It's not going to stop it wouldn't even stop a knife. Wouldn't even stop anything. The cameraman also shows lots of equipment donated to the unit, but the command refuses to transport other belongings to the front line.
Короче, вот пластина, мы ее разобрали. Здесь, мы не знаем, что это за материал, это похоже на керамику, вот это хрен пойми какая-то резина.
We're inspecting the material. So this is a plate. This is a plate that you would put in a plate carrier that you would wear in the battlefield, right? If you played Warzone, you'd see that they put in the plates. It doesn't work like in Warzone where you just replace plates after getting shot. Getting shot with a plate in hurts like a motherfucker, apparently. But that's the basic idea, is that if a plate gets ruined, you can replace it and pull it out and put that in the carrier. For those who don't know what the fuck this is, this would be important to an assault team to have these if you're going to go into battle, right? It'd protect your vital organs from getting trashed. So he pierced it with a knife and it went through.
Ни маркировок, ничего. Ну, вот так выглядит новая, да.
But it keeps on ticking. I don't know, man. Some of these rusty AKs look like they've seen very better days, like 40 years ago better days.
Вот пуля вошла.
Bullet went in.
Вот она вышла.
Oh my God! Right through the helmet. So they shot one with a gun. That would mean you're carrying around several spare plates. Yeah, that would be so heavy. The guy simply punched it. Look at that, he punched it. Look at this, dude. This is not even a bicycle helmet. Yep, I heard Swillix. Yep, I don't give a shit. This is our humanitarian aid. Innovative storage techniques. They dump shit in salt water for 30 years. Leave vital equipment out in the weather. They don't cycle it. Probably linked to a fundraiser. Yeah, exactly. Russia doesn't need proper equipment because they're stronger than average. You carry this on your back, we don't care.
доставлять вас.
No one will be bringing you back. Oh my God! It's like I'm not lugging this shit around.
То, что на вас ваши личные вещи.
All this shit is just going to
Я
waste.
хуй знает, как бы, что с этим делать. Все говорят, что, ну, все все знают.
Yeah,
прокуратура всё знает, как бы.
I agree with you, Swillix. I was tempted to do the same thing to cancel my Twitter account, but I'm interested to see how it all goes to hell. So I'm sticking around for the time being because I'm just curious to see how it all goes to shit. I don't think it's gonna die like some people are predicting, but I do think it's gonna be it's changed irrevocably. Brothers morale high. Mobilized men from Tomitsk shared this video in the comments of the governor of Tomitsk region, Vladimir Mazur, the man who was drafted in mid-October, is complaining about being lied to about the purpose of their unit, which will be sent to the front line. Ooh, this ought to be juicy. So more, betrayed. You know, these poor guys, they're just straight up lied to. They're like, we're going to give a big fat check to your family. You know, we're going to hook you up with all the best equipment. You know, you're going to be fully set up. We're already kicking ass. We're going to go out and kick more ass. And they get there and it's like literally all lies. And you're like, oh yeah, you're literally going to be sent to the front lines as cannon fodder so that our better troops have more time to retreat. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that, Swillix. Thank you.
Вот ты прикинь, вот снимай меня это место. Прикиньте, нам, вот мы 26 числа здесь находимся, нам, блять, офицеры врали нахуй в лицо, что мы тероборона. В итоге сейчас вышел подполковник, сказал, что первый раз это слышит. Оказывается, у нас просто стрелковое подразделение, блять, мы штурмовики. Мы штурмовики, блять, мы не тероборона. Она сейчас только об этом.
Мы
нам
автоматы
врали,
еще
блядь.
даже не видели.
Автомата не держали, блядь. Автомата не держали 2 недели. Вообще, вот сегодня пришли на полигон пометать гранаты, блядь. Сказали, гранат нету, нахуй. Не дали даже автобус назад. Мы пешком с полигона, блядь, пришли сюда.
10 километров.
Назад, 10 километров,
блядь. Оттуда пришли сюда, блядь.
Как подается...
So do you hear that? Do you hear that? They I think they either marched them there or they dropped them off at grenade training. There wasn't grenades to actually throw, if I'm reading this correctly, and then they made them march 10 kilometers back. And now they're getting sent to the fucking front lines, and they've had only maybe 2 weeks of weapons training. Yeah, Davey, give me that link, man.
Офицерами нахуй воевать, блядь. Они продадут там же нахуй нас на Украине, ёбаный в рот. Хуесосы, блядь.
Cocksuckers.
Вот так, вот так.
Form the ranks, boys.
Давайте, пацаны, сразу попустим короткие видяхи. Давайте сразу.
Wow. Film the short videos, boys. Yeah, and you got to film the short videos and click send and get them sent immediately. Because we've already seen, you know, one video ended with the commander like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah, because he was taking a video and like, you know, dissenting to all of this. He's like reverting. He's like doing a fucking like TikTok live stream. He's like, "This is bullshit. This fucking sucks." And this commander looks at him like, "Oh, do you want to get strung up?" And literally shot in the head. You know, basically gave him that look. Didn't make them, just didn't give them another option. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So if you haven't seen this footage, this is, you know, explosive ass footage right here. This is in Kherson. Explosion in Dnipro this morning, actually. Okay, so this is in the city of Dnipro. And I mean, imagine spending hundreds of thousands of rubles or dollars to do this. Thank you, Davey, for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Everyone give props to Davey, the clip finder extraordinaire. We'll take a look at that once this one's done. Just churn around. Thank you very much. Yeah, pretty wild shit, huh? Like, imagine just spending military resources. What? Man. And this is supposed to get Ukraine to stop kicking Russia's ass, right? Oh no, if we stop kicking Russia's ass, you might what? Terrorize us? Terrible strategy. By the way, I heard a military analyst point out that historically the strategy of terrorizing the civilians just from the air to win a military conflict has never been successful. It's definitely not the first time the strategy has been tried. Continuation of the story with mobilized soldiers from the Moscow region aggressively talking to the officer about their lack of proper equipment and treatment. Filmed up close, the insults by the officer were followed by punching the officer in the chest and more insults. I might have seen this, but let's take a look and watch. Yeah, I did show this one. Yes, I did. You know, I've already started it. Let's go ahead and finish it here, but I do recall showing this one. I remember the look on this Mr. Stony Commander's face here. This guy.
А вернее видеть конкретные действия. Вы не исполняете прямой приказ Верховного Главнокомандующего о обеспечении форменным обмундированием и всеми принадлежностями мобилизованных и о тренировках мобилизованных. То есть, по сути, вы саботируете указы Главнокомандующего. Соответственно, вас положено арестовать. И также весь штаб. Вызвать сюда представителей военной прокуратуры и Верховного командования и донести до них, что здесь происходит.
Сейчас, подожди, вот по поводу гуманитарки все офицеры забирают.
Почему у нас выдается не армейский жилет, а вот эта дрочь китайская? Объясните мне. Потому что у него класс защиты в лучшем случае 4+. И то его еще никто на отстрел не проверял. Проверяли, ну и как? Пробил. Проверяли.
Like, look, because that's something that we've seen as well, that they're being promised this gear. Sometimes they're given the gear, this better gear, and then they're being told to, you know, take that gear off, and then they're given this other gear, this cheaper gear, and then they test it, and it's not even bulletproof. It's like, what is even the point of wearing it, right? What is it going to keep me warm?
Пробил.
So 5:45, the bullet stuck out.
Пробито насквозь.
Пробивали, ну, с метров с 50.
Насквозь пробито, лежали, блядь, плиты.
Так пуля торчит или ее пробивали? Вы что-то путаетесь.
Пуля торчит.
Пробито
You must be confused. You're not confused.
Лежали плиты на 100 метров насквозь пробиты.
Может, мы другие плиты пробивали?
Right? He's like double his size.
Так может или другие? Давайте говорить точно.
Давайте.
So now he's like, I don't know, maybe some of them do, maybe some of them are, you know, I don't know. He's like, okay, you want to speak a little bit more clearly on this, or maybe not. My life's on the line, dickweed.
На стрельбище и
Черную
проверим.
плиту, совершенно верно. Это не плита, это керамика.
Ну, я видел плита.
Пробито насквозь,
В
лежало.
прошлый раз на осмотре нам сказали, портупея поверх бушлата не одевается. Сегодня пришлось это делать. Вот с этим как воевать? Вы так и не ответили. Как вот из этого подсумка что-то достать? Как с
20 лет
этим
назад
воевать?
такой был, блядь,
Почему
и 20
ребята
лет он
все
такой
сами
же.
покупают разгрузки, блядь,
Вот оно.
аптечки, херечки? Почему? Когда 90% личного состава болело, сначала болело меньше. Вместо того, чтобы отселить больных в отдельное помещение,
remember that
там
story,
находятся
Sticks.
особо
Все лежали,
приближенные
блядь,
к
все вместе.
императору. Я конкретный пример сейчас привожу.
Конкретно это к императору, к какому императору?
Не знаю к какому.
Командиру полка, командиру
Не
батальона.
знаю.
Ну явно
могу
необычный
сказать.
солдат там
Но там,
лежал.
грубо говоря, живут обычные солдаты. Когда это доводится до непосредственного начальства, на местах, там, включая командиров
remember
рот,
the
никаких решений не
Humvees
принималось.
that weren't equipped for
Заболеет
IEDs.
100% личного состава, все пройдет, переболеем. Нахрен мне это надо? Я пришел, неделю лежал в больнице. Заболел воспалением легких. Когда я узнал, что ребята могут без меня уехать, я написал заявление, что отказываюсь от дальнейшего лечения по собственному желанию. Приехал сюда, чтобы, не дай бог, мои ребята без меня не уехали. А всем остальным на это насрать. Почему я договаривался с начмедом, чтобы положить в больницу старшего сержанта Галдина? Почему это не делают другие люди? Где комбат? Где командир роты?
Давайте,
Nice.
давайте состроим, заберем его и спросим сейчас.
Я у вас хочу спросить, где он?
Ну давайте, вон он стоит там. блин.
Так должен ли он в строю?
Вот так я вас спрашиваю.
Руки в
Пойдемте,
карманах
возьмемте его и вытащим.
выньте. Давай так стоять. Ничего,
Вы
плюнь тебе на
офицер,
воротник.
вы
Нормально?
держите руки в карман.
На воротник.
Ну, а что ты?
А? Вот. Вот этого не надо делать.
Тихо, тихо, Саш, не размыкайся.
Вот это не надо
Ты
делать.
еще въебу, ты, блядь, башка отлетит, нахуй, дурак.
Ну
Я
и
мастер
дальше
спорта,
что?
блядь.
Ну хорошо, я
Таких,
рад
как
за
ты,
вас.
нахуй, просто загибаю, блядь.
Ну, я рад
Не
за
смей
вас.
так со мной
Имейте-
разговаривать. Ты
имейте-
офицер,
Вы
блядь, а мы
офицер,
стоим.
блядь, а вы руки в карманах
Понял?
держите.
Ты хуйло.
It's I think it's clearly an insult that it's like he's trying to act nonchalant, you know, he's trying to be calm, trying to be cool. It's kind of a power thing. Why is he keeping his hands in his pockets? Because he's like, you know, he's like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to listen to this bullshit and walk away. I think that's what I'm interpreting from this.
Правильно
Я тебе
говорите.
говорю, ты хуйло.
А вот за оскорбление можно...
Что ты мне сделаешь? Что ты мне сделаешь? Ну, давай.
Я никого,
Давай.
солдат, никого не бью никогда.
Руки
Кого ты
из кармана
попить можешь? Ты себя в
вытащите.
зеркало видел? Ну, у меня к тебе теперь такое.
Man, this is embarrassing, bro. This guy's supposed to be commanding. He's supposed to have a commanding presence, supposed to be a clear leadership structure. This guy's getting spanked, bro. Whoa. I didn't see the whole video.
Офицер, руки в карманах,
Чего
блядь,
вы взяли,
держит.
что
Ёб
я
я
должен,
хуею,
блядь,
блядь,
кого-то
офицер.
бить?
Ну ты пошел отсюда нахуй, раз
Зачем?
тут никому ничего не должен.
Вот вы
Понял?
сейчас зачем так говорите?
Затем, что я выражаю мнение коллектива. И если я не прав, коллектив мне скажет. А коллектив считает, что я выражаю их мнение. И я прав.
Более чем.
Я прав, более
То,
чем.
что вас не полностью обеспечили, это не означает, что...
Какое ваше отношение? Так же к вам и
Это означает,
относимся.
что вы можете передо мной стоять вот так,
Я
ёпта.
так и не стою.
Серьезно?
нет,
Я чё, блядь?
Ты чё, блядь?
Ты чё, в глаза ебешься, бык задутый?
Я с вами манерно разговариваю. Я с вами...
Я как
пытаюсь
считаю
разговаривать.
нужно,
Yeah, of
после
course.
того, как вот я все видел,
That's the Russian
как
solution
считаю
to the
нужно,
problem.
так и буду с тобой разговаривать.
Kill the dissenter.
Но это неправильное решение.
Правильное решение. Поверь, правильно.
Я, если честно, вот
And here, you know, this commander, he's like, you know, he bleeds Russian red, right? He told the medical officer to let him go. He was like sick with pneumonia. He's like, they're not leaving without me. Just, you know, so he's sick right now. And he's like, no, the condition of my men is inexcusable. You know, and we're not ready for combat in any sort of way. And he actually cares quite a bit, you know, about their combat readiness, because he knows that affects their survivability rate. And yeah, goddamn, I mean, yeah, the Russian solution would be just, okay, eliminate him. You know, this true believer, this guy who's like ride or die Russia, who wants to make sure that, you know, he's, you know, accomplishing the goals of the Russian military as, you know, as well as possible. And yeah, no, let's get rid of him. You know, you can't have that.
за время, сколько
Weak
я
link,
был,
weak
я
link.
со столькими солдатами переговорил и пытался вас в душу уложить, а вы сейчас мне просто плюете. Зачем?
У нас душа на месте.
Хуй вы на нас положили, а не душу уложили.
Тебе с нами-то не служите, в окопах не сиди.
Вы на
Ты,
нас
блядь, рассказываешь
положили
о
хуй.
чем-то.
Мы завтра уйдем, вы про нас забудете. Не
Yeah,
несите
that's
чушь,
exactly
блядь.
it. Yeah.
Откровенную хуйню.
Yeah, they're loaded up into, you know, their two weeks of ridiculous training is over, and he's got to get ready for the next crop of suckers, the next crop of idiots, you know, who are going to be sent to their fucking deaths on the front lines. Yeah, well, we do real news on the News Underground. It's the only thing I know how to do is how to keep it real. Spectacular footage. 2 Russian caliber cruise missiles shot down within seconds over Kharkiv region on November 15th. First is audible explosion and glow on horizon. Second is a clear view of interception by German Irish T air defense system. So this is why the rapid response and the rapid help, you know, coming to Ukraine after the first missile barrage was so essential. Here we see it in action. Here we see it in action right here. Pretty nuts. Could you imagine standing this guy standing in his yard, the guy standing in his backyard or front yard or sidewalk, right? He's out walking his dog or something. He went to go get a soda, right? And he's like witnessing like, you know, this shit like right above his town. Totally bonkers. Totally bonkers. So there's the first one.
О, смотри, так рядом, буерки, наверное. Ёб твою. Взорвали? Взорвали, да. Взорвали, да, ракету, да? Да. Вот, еще одна, сука!
Look at that. Intercepted. Intercepted.
Пизда, нахуй.
Dude.
Я хуею. Ебать! Даже не видим, чем сбивает, да? Даже не видно, чем сбивается. В засадах сидят, так что...
Damn, I mean, look at this.
Вот, еще одна.
You can see, it's so close to the ground. You can see the stabilization fins on this grainy ass video. Like, you can clearly make out it's a motherfucking cruise missile, dude. Yeah, I know, and Russia thinks that this is a useful use of their resources to terrorize the Ukrainian population to bending the knee. It's not working. Wow. Boom. Intercepted. And it's actually a lot higher up in the sky than what you would think. It's because it's a lot larger than that. This makes it look like it's really small. It's actually up there quite. It's definitely way up there. Because you see the explosion and it's several seconds before the sound actually gets to the camera. Yeah. Boom. There's the blast wave. Wow. Wow. How many cruise missiles you've seen intercepted in real time in your backyard? Right? And this is like his dad. Look at his dad's right here. He's like ducking behind the fucking family van. Like, holy fuck. Oh, it's a beautiful front yard. Yeah, beautiful front yard. I'll be looking into that Ukrainian real estate market. You know what I'm talking about? Cha-ching, baby. So I can show this because there is no blood, but you do see this is once again incredible footage, beyond insane. This is a friendly fire incident. These Russian soldiers were sabotaging and blowing up Ukrainian boats and docks on the Ukrainian side of the Dnipro River, and what happens is that they're on the other side of the Russian side over there. They confuse this boat with the Ukrainian boat and open fire on it. Someone on the boat is immediately struck, not killed. You can hear him groaning in pain. He's not killed. You don't see any blood. You don't see any of that. But at least one person on the boat was struck immediately, and then you see them and hear them desperately try to get the boat away. But it's like the boat's out in the wide open, and it's just being pelted with bullets, and they're just begging. They're screaming at their side. I think what they're shouting is same side, something along those lines. And it's just, this is the chaos of war. And apparently a lot of the losses that Russia has been experiencing are from friendly fire incidences. Apparently that fire and forget saturation, artillery bombing has not been so friendly to the troops on the ground on the Russian side. Let's have a watch here.
Давай, у кого граната обычная, без связки? Нет, это отлично.
Эту. Мелкую не будем?
Мелкую расстреляй. Движок расстреляй. Стой, свои! Что? Свои!
But he's already hit. They're still shooting at him. The boat is only covered in Z's. Like they're a member of a supervillains organization. You think they'd be able to figure this out? I don't know if this boat is bulletproof, y'all. the guy who's steering is telling his friends to tell him where to go. He literally isn't even looking at where he's going right now. He's just flooring it. True, it does get significantly quieter. Ooh, yikes. Well, maybe, or maybe he's, you know, falling into blood loss and shock. Maybe. Man, it's nasty business, this war. I mean, reminds me of the Apocalypse Now scene, you know, where they were smuggling a puppy, you know? Yeah, team kill. This is what they call fragging. This is what a frag looks like. Yeah, I think he was still alive there. I think I heard him moaning, but yeah, holy shit. You know, and here they are. I mean, and what are they sabotaging? Like civilian boats and shit? They're throwing grenades in fucking civilian boats. I guess they could be used for the war effort, but Jesus Christ, guys. Like, where's this is your military priority? How do you have time to dink around and throw grenades at civilian boats, but you don't have enough time to load up your truck with all the weapons and ammo that you left behind in Kherson? I don't get it. How do you have time to dink around with this fucking Bush League fucking, like, this is literally prank level nonsense. You have time to dick around with this, but you can't set up a supply line, a logistical supply line to move some of your equipment out of there when you had weeks in advance notice? I mean, god damn. You know what I mean? Fuck, dude, this is going down in history as the biggest military blunder ever, man. Like, I just didn't think America could be topped. All right, real quick, let's see if we can get our Denny's update. And there he is, right on schedule. You know your boy's on this shit 3 hours ago. Blackout, no blackout. He finds a way. He finds a way. They're all rushed to the front as cannon fodder. It's crazy. Fucking crazy. Let's one more because I know you love it. One more because I know you love it. Ukraine. It looks like Ukrainian artillery wipe out a Russian tank. We actually didn't have it. We haven't had a good artillery strike one in a minute. Boom. Damn. Yeah, don't stand still. What are you thinking? Must have been abandoned or something. Maybe it was a decoy. Likely would have been, like, if a squad had opened up on my friendlies like that, every single one of us would have been removed from combat. Well, I mean, it's one thing. I mean, friendly fire accidents do happen in the United States, right? They're more rare because of the technology and communication, and there's a lot of procedure, you know, there's a lot more, you know, but they still do happen. I mean, because it's one thing to, like, maybe open up fire and just, like, throw the first salvo, but then it's another thing to just sustained gunfire, you know?
Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. Let's go to the northern part, northeast, actually to Kupiansk, and I think we're gonna review the tactical map. Let's review this one. We have Kupiansk, we have Kharkiv region. That's the only part of the Kharkiv region that is still occupied by the Russian forces, and as you can see, Ukrainian forces.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Logistics is literally the most important element in fighting a war. Nothing else happens without logistics.
Didn't cross the river over here. We crossed it here in the woods, but we didn't go through this territory. And here we have the border of Lugansk region. The fighting wasn't going for Novoalexeyevsk for several days, and now it's been confirmed that it was taken by Ukrainian forces. But Russia went on the counterattack to Stelmankhivka, and they also were able to build the barricades and defense lines in the Svatovo city itself. Also, there is the river ongoing through the city, which make it difficult task for Ukrainian forces to take the city. They offend with 144th Brigade, and the 4th Army is behind in Svatovo city. And from what I can see, maybe we are are in lack of resources to go to that city for now. And also we need to cross the river over here. Partially we crossed it, but still lots of job to do, my friends. However, we are very close to Svatove. Also, as you can see, Russia has still reserves behind them, and they keep some of the battalions on the south as well. And from this area, let's go to Bakhmut, my friends, because Russia still tries to attack.
Kronos, there's a high likelihood that the soldiers shooting at that boat were drunk. I mean, that's how bad the situation is.
That city. They do not just attack Bakhmut, but also Soledar and Bakhmutsk village. There is the Akhmat, the battalion of Kadyrovites, and recently they were not very successful there. The last time they took the part of the Bakhmutsk village was, I think, 2 months ago. And here is their main vector. My friends, today I saw some of the footages from the front lines, from the drones, and I would say that Russia lost quite a lot of forces. Bodies are just lying on the fields. Russians doesn't care about their fallen soldiers, and that create the risk of some disease in that area. And recently Russians were able to move to Opatna over here. They partially took this village, and as you can see, there is the road that is going to Bakhmut city itself. So they are taking this road, and it's the great risk for our forces because, my friends, as you can see, there is the river ongoing through the city, and here they already crossed it in this way, and they may take this road to go to the city. But we created the defense lines. Those are very strong. We have reinforcements also on the south, on the north part in Bakhmut itself. That is why it's very hard task for Russia to take Bakhmut city, and they are losing lots of the forces. But still, it seems like their political goal is to take that city. And before we continue, let me tell you about the long-term partner of my channel. The sponsor of today's video is Atlas VPN. You know what, my for today,
he's adorable.
Is on Atlas also has.
Thank you, Atlas VPN, for supporting Dennis. It's nice of them.
Also feature of Netflix series or blast chapter Russia allowed to support. Link in the video description just below. Atlas VPN helps a lot to support my channel and also Ukrainian people. So Atlas VPN, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. If we move to the Donetsk city itself, you see how Russia tries to reach the nearby villages, city suburbs, and recently they got some of the success in Marinka and Opatna. However, we pushed them away from Vodene. So they failed here in Vodene, but successfully took the Opatna village, and they already reported it to the Russian military command, and they reported to their propaganda media. They say that finally we took Opatna, but it's just temporary success of the Russian army. You know, once.
Yeah, that's good. I don't want soldiers to be compromised to a simple virus that they could easily disable them on the battlefield. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, you don't like healthy normal vaccinations? Well, you basically Corporal Klingered your way out of the military, bud. You want a pat on the back?
Small village here doesn't matter. There are lots of the villages, lots of the roads that our army still protects. And here is the border. I'll show you. This is the border, how far they moved from the beginning of the war. So this part they took from the 24th of the February, just Pisky, Opatna, part of the Marinka over here. Not a huge success for the Russian army over here, because Ukrainian army was able to build its defense for a very long time, many years, and for Russia it's the hardest place where they can attack.
Exactly,
but still
Kronos.
They perform attacks here, and I would say it's the profitable that Ukrainian army defending here, because we cause more losses for the Russian army in case we would attack them, because they also build their defense lines. And urban fighting in Donetsk, we're gonna try to avoid it and cause Russians to retreat from this big place. How can we do it? Well, there are some ways. The main thing is to get supplies for Russia, and that is what we are doing right now with
just looking at this map. I mean, you see just like city blocks, there's towns and townhouses and apartment buildings, and man, could you imagine rolling through there, having to fight a war in that environment? Jesus.
help of the Western-made rocket artillery systems, especially HIMARS. Near to Donetsk, Russia also tries to attack Novomykhailivka, but unsuccessfully, and Ukrainian forces keep that village, and also they attack near to Vuhledar, to Pavlivka. They lost around 300 men at first, and with the second attack also they got losses, but the second attack was more successful and they took part of the village. In my latest video I showed you the fighting in that.
Yeah, that's quite a problem in the military, is they treat you guys like guinea pigs, and yeah, you're not really allowed to have much choice. I'm surprised that they gave you a choice with COVID, but I guess if it's too much of a compromise. They just don't want soldiers that don't believe in medical science. I don't know. Maybe it was an opportunity to weed out some of the really dum-dums.
Particular village, and we use artillery systems to cause Russia to withdraw, and for now we cannot be sure whether they take at least the part of that village for sure. Right, here's some direction. We are controlling this river bay over here, and we try to reach Russian positions in the south, but so far unsuccessfully. And today it's the first time that Russia used rockets to target Kherson city, so we don't know what they target. Our officials say about the humanitarian hotspot, but I'm not sure, because it was really the dark smoke coming as from the factory or from the ammunition depot. So we're gonna see it in the future, but I think that information is classified. Still, Russia keeps, as you can see, lots of the forces on that shore. Obviously, if we would just cut the dam, it would be flooded over here and Russia would lose every forces. But for us, it's going to be very hard to cross the Dnieper River in that case, and also it will bring the devastations to our villages and small towns, so we're not gonna do it in that case. From what I can say, they even put their battalion in the sandpit of Oleshki. It's kind of interesting. So we're gonna see how situation develops here. From what I can say, that without those bridges, my friends, it would be very hard for Ukrainian army to cross the Dnieper River, especially if Russians keep their forces on that shore. All right, to some of the news and events. Russia published that court of Netherlands say that the Ukrainian side is guilty in drowning the MH17. I think that Russia already lives in parallel reality, because the court verdict was that Russian side was guilty, and they say in their media that Ukraine was guilty. It's just crazy, but their citizens would believe in that shit. The Prime Minister of UK, the new one, Rishi Sunak, attended Kiev today, and he met President Zelensky. They went to Mikhailivsky Square, where you may find some of the tanks, armored vehicles that were destroyed, and obviously we'll have some more help that was announced today by the British side, humanitarian one and military. We'll have more air defense systems, I think the small ones, to fight against the Iranian-made Shahid drones. So it's the great thing that we still keep support of UK, our partner. With the new Prime Minister, I think the main direction will not be changed. And this is the video from Kherson. So something is on fire, really big, maybe oil reservoirs or something, gas station. Man. I don't know, ammunition depot. So Russia
what the fuck is this video?
Today Kherson for the first time after retreatment. Absolutely huge fire sparked today in Russian Federation. The gas pipeline somehow got damaged and burst into flames. It happened very near to St. Petersburg, and this pipeline was used to deliver the gas to the Nord Stream. Nord Stream was damaged, and just recently Swedish intelligence say that it was deliberate action on that pipeline, so sabotage act is confirmed, and we don't know what happened today with this pipeline near to St. Petersburg. And after the Nord Stream 1 sabotage, President Zelensky said that Russia will blow up something on their territory to accuse the Ukrainian side and to hit the gas pipeline that leads to Europe. But luckily, Europe already got enough gas in their storages, so don't worry, my friends in Europe, this winter will be okay for you. But not okay for Ukraine, because we're in lack of electricity, and it's the usual picture to see nowadays. Electrical cars are being charged with the help of the diesel.
Man, boy, you imagine buying you're a Ukrainian, you just bought a Tesla. Boy, you fucked up. You played the wrong card. You played the wrong card, or maybe not. I don't know. What do you think? I think I'd prefer to have a combustion engine vehicle, to be quite frank. But gas is going to be, you're still buying gas. You're still buying fucking gas. Yeah, they're shitty cars in general. I don't know. Is it a smart move or is it a stupid move to have an electric car during a full-blown war? That's the question. Is it a bonehead move to have an electric car? Or does it make sense to have an electric car?
Or benzene generators. Checkmate, Elon Musk. New milestone for Ukraine. We already have 30 Gepard tanks in our army. They help us to fight against the Shahed drones and low-flying targets as helicopters and attack airplanes. Before we got reports that we were in lack of the ammunition for the cannons of those tanks, but now from the information we have, this problem have been solved. And this is the weather in Ukraine, my friends. Yes, we got snow, but it's not really cold. It's around 0 degrees centigrade. Temperature fluctuates from -3 up to 0. And yes, it's fantastic weather for the kids.
Batteries
and it's
like
usual one for
Good
the
point.
late autumn. But late December and...
I mean, it's a bit of a paradox of Looney Flow, because when the battery's in operation, you want it to be cooled. And being in the cold environment will probably keep the battery nice and cool during operation. But you don't, if a battery is sitting idle, you don't want it to be in a very cold environment sitting idle. I think that does affect the charge of a lithium-ion battery. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe car batteries work a little different.
Especially January, it's usually kind of cold here. Temperature may drop down to -20
Kills it even
sometimes.
on, really.
The deputy of our defense minister today in interview said that the war may be finished till the late spring 2023. And he said that we're gonna liberate Crimea in December. I do not believe that. The first train arrived today in Kherson, delivering around 200 passengers to that place. Awesome achievement of Ukrainians to liberate the biggest city that Russia was able to take from the beginning of this war. This city is not very big compared to other Ukrainian cities, but still it's very important for us. And our government tries to make lives of the people there as comfortable as possible during this war. The International Institute of War, which is in United States, said that there's going to be some of the new wave of the Russian mobilization still. Yes, I thought it would not be possible, but it seems like Russia has lots of the losses on the front lines, especially of the mobilized soldiers. That is why they are trying to put more cannon fodder to the front lines. As for Putin, he just wants to keep his power in Russia and he doesn't care on the lives of the Russians. And if he would need to waste the lives of his soldiers, like millions, he doesn't care. He would like to do it. Even before this war, Russia had severe demographic problems, but now people are leaving the country, people are dying, and who dies? The most productive generation, young men. One more freak attended the missile test, the nuclear one, with his daughter.
We covered this.
What are they happy about? It's just crazy. The world should get rid of the dictators like this Kim, like Putin, Iranian dictatorship, Belarus, of course. Some of the aviation story today happened in Peru. Just look at this Airbus A320neo. I'm the airline pilot, that is why I'm speaking about it. And it's been reported that this airplane hit the fire truck on a runway. Fire truck was not allowed to cross the runway, but after all, they tried to do it, and the airplane hit the fire truck with the right hand
it hit a
engine
fire
and
truck.
also landing gear that collapsed. Somehow pilots kept the airplane under control throughout the roll, and some of the passengers sustained injuries. 2 firemen in a truck lost their lives. 1 fireman is in critical state in a hospital. Great job from the crew keeping that airplane alive. As you can see, the other fire trucks
I can't play
arrived,
JRE
eliminating
clips, so
the
good
fire
DMCA.
at the rear part of the airplane. It didn't burst into flames. As you can see, fuel spilled a little after the airplane stopped, but it was eliminated by the fire crew. And those guys who remained in other vehicles, they did their job very well, eliminating the fire of this airplane.
Damn.
And investigation is ongoing. Iran will help Russia to build drones on their territory. So they were blamed that they are sending those drones to the Russian side, but they decided to build some sort of the factory facility to build those jacket drones over there.
No, I'm not sure if it's Ukrainian. Let me see here. No, Ukrainian plane. Problem solved, guys. Isn't that great? They found a happy solution. Let's see. Let's go back to the beginning here.
Dictators like this came like,
yeah, and that is a hot take, man. I don't know about this dictator's take, bro. I don't know. Dictators deserve free speech too.
Putin, Iranian dictatorship, Belarus, of course. Some of the aviation story today happened in Peru. Just look at this.
Peru. Well, Kronos, I'm going to give Dennis a break here because I do believe in his heart that he believes that. But he obviously has his own biases, right? But dude, this is the perfect solution, you know? Instead of Iran shipping drones to Russia, they'll just build the drones in Russia, and then they'll continue to terrorize Ukrainians, but it's not Iran's fault. I love how geopolitics is literally just, you know, grade school level semantics on the playground.
Those drones to the Russian side, but they decided to build some sort of the factory facility to build those jacket drones over there. Interesting. Russia wants to cause our air defense to collapse. That is why they are firing the rockets in a few waves, and they know that we are in lack of the rockets for some of our systems, and that's why I expect that we'll have more Western-made air defense systems that will have enough rocket supplies for them. Because Buk S-300, the ammunition for them is very limited and already been taken from the Eastern Europe. My friends, I'm going to keep you updated on situation here in Ukraine.
And make sure you like and subscribe to Dennis. He's doing a wonderful job over there in Ukraine, in Kyiv, in an undisclosed location. Doing a great job. Gotta love this guy. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. All right, real quick, let's see if we can get any news. There is going to have a war. It's just a question of whether it's a civil or proxy. Well, I think the idea is eventually to have no more wars. I think if that's not your goal, if that's not your aim, then you should not be making decisions. So let's just see if we have any news. CSIS investigating death threats, Iran solidarity, Montreal. Revolution, not a protest. Thousands demand regime change. Damn, that's just an amazing amount of dead people. 326 dead, according to this number. So yeah, nothing new on Iran. But there you go, YouTube. That's what I got for you with Ukraine. Thank you so much. And, you know, like and subscribe. Check out Abandoned Nihilism on Twitch, because I know you will.